But you do feel like that in California. You're like, this is so far away from the West Midlands, I'm on a freeway. I was given a Pentax SLR camera, a really basic one for my 18th birthday. What I'd actually wanted was one of those, at the time, very cool little Olympus point and presses that had an amazing ad campaign. It turned out well in the end because I got obsessed with photography. Certainly about the last 4 or 5 years, I've worked exclusively on my Leicas. It's entirely manual. It uses prime lenses, so no zoom. If you want to zoom, you use your feet or change lens. When you photograph anyone, it's by its nature, it's an aggressive act. You're taking something from someone and people get nervous, they feel awkward, and being a photographer, you have to kind of work through that and break down those sort of barriers to the image. And this is a less threatening camera, in my opinion. You're never removed from your subject. 99% of my photography is in colour. I'm interested in colour. I like expressing myself that way. Most clients request colour. However, for the BAFTAs, I made a really distinct commitment to shooting it in black and white. Mainly for the reason that award ceremonies have a lot going on, and there's a lot of colour and visual noise. But what I'm trying to get are kind of genuinely intimate personal moments in a very public event. I have done this behind the scenes stuff because they like the BAFTA stuff at the Oliviers, and David Byrne just in a beam of light backstage waiting to go on, and I could see this beam of light and I could see him in his white suit, and they weren't. I was like praying to all the gods that he would step into the beam of light, which eventually he did for a millisecond, and that's it, and then stepped back into the shadow. But that's photography. A lot of it is just waiting for what you hope to happen. It doesn't always, but it did there. So with Love, it was slightly different. The director and writer, Alexander Zeldin, had requested me to do production photos. The only brief he gave me is that he wanted me to shoot the rehearsal process as if it was real. He wanted it to sort of transcend the fourth wall of a play, and it to be as if I was shooting these people as if they were their characters. It was a really unusual production in that they wrote the play as they rehearsed it. The cast were great. They'd been told by the director that this is how the photography was going to happen, and normally I say if I am being intrusive or you're finding it a distraction, just give me a look and I'll slope off, but fortunately no one did. And they'd been told just to kind of ignore me, and I moved around very close and was sitting no more than 2 feet from actors as they were working through the scene, which allowed a kind of intimacy. I mean, I find that as a photographer much more interesting than sitting on a long lens. You have to very much focus on human moments and not play down the drabness, because that was part of the production, but to get this sense of kind of intimacy and human moments in this very drab, joyless, kind of crushing environment. Taking pictures for a living was and is an incredible thrill and privilege, as it maybe was when I was 18 and first learnt how to use this bloody camera I didn't want. I'm desperate to make images. It's something I feel I have to do, and it's about making connections. It's making a photograph that can speak to a viewer, and it's a journey to try and get better, and each frame you take that you feel has some meaning or works and communicates emotion in a way I want, I feel kind of takes me closer to kind of where I want to go with it. I also use this thumb grip to give you a steady hold of the camera, because I have a tremor, which is a disaster for a photographer. Probably shouldn't admit flaws. But anyway.